just wanted to, also discuss on while you are scaling StudioPress and you said you have seen ups and downs. Mm-hmm. How does it affect your mental health?
That's a whole episode in and of itself. Yeah, mental health and entrepreneur and creator and all of this stuff, it is a daily battle. We have extended seasons where we're doing better or worse than other seasons. But even inside of those, like my days are up and down, like sometimes on the hour. It's easier now, in some respect, to be working for somebody else and not have to bear the responsibility of doing the right thing and building the right product and generating the right amount of revenue. That's now the company's issue. And I've got a good job and I've got insurance and all those things. Right. So I don't have to worry about that as much. But then kind of with that comes the limitation of not being able to be an entrepreneur and to do all the things that you want to do, the freedom of all of that. And so, kind of in and all of that is a threaded, just roller coaster of emotions where, and as a creator, I have days where I have self-doubt. I have days where I have imposter syndrome, where I see stuff on social media that makes me realize I'm not as good as I think I am. And there are other days where I'll put something out there and people will respond and I'll, humbly acknowledge that I have a skill. And so there's a whole lot there. And the StudioPress thing towards the end, sales were starting to decline a little bit, like because we were kind of being scattered. And it was just one of those times where we all, as partners, we had been together for 10 years and some of us were starting to do like our own side projects. And it was obvious that like, it was the right time to do these bigger moves. And so we just, when you are a partner in a company and you've got, as you might know, 50 or 60 people, lives and families, like all these people depend on you. Like that's a pretty big responsibility to bear. Now, granted, we had partners and Brian was he was the CEO, so he had the most responsibility, but like I still had to answer to people whose jobs depended on what we did.
Absolutely.
So
we don't talk much about the mental health in WordPress. I mean, there are people who just talk about it, but there still needs to be a lot of noise regarding this. And yes. I think every product has a life cycle. We just need to understand that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we get so attached with the product that we feel that it needs to be used by everybody and it needs to be lived forever. And practically that's not the case. Every product has a life cycle and we are always living in some sort of a bubble, right? It's always it's always that evolution that is going on. So how do you keep yourself balanced in all of this?
I think it just goes back to just understanding, like you said, that nothing is infinite, really, especially in the tech space. And to be perfectly honest, the Genesis life cycle of 10 years was significantly longer than I think anybody expected to begin with. And it's still going strong. It's still very stable. There's hundreds of thousands of websites that are powered by it, but we're also seeing sort of a shift in the way WordPress is going. So like, I think there's a lot of understanding within the community, the people who build with it, our team who built it, just that, as I say, the unique value proposition that Genesis once served is now being replaced by WordPress core functionality. And so as often in life when something doesn't work out, there's always an opportunity there, right? Like it's always, and do you hang on too long or do you say, okay, things are now shifting. Let's start to focus on the new stuff and figure out the best way to transition the customer base, the people who have trusted us over the years. How do we continue that trust by just saying, we're working on something new, follow us into that journey, right? And I think we're starting to see that now kind of within WP Engine, but just the general WordPress community as a whole. And again, there's a lot of ups and downs there and people who are resistant to change and, all of those things. And so you have to deal with that too. But I'm personally, I've never been more excited about WordPress than I am today.